Namaste, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. Have you seen that show on Netflix, Love is Blind? Well, do you think that Love is Blind? You know, years ago when I was in the military in Offutt, one of my friends was going home for the weekend, spent time with his family, and he drove through this McDonald's and he saw this girl and he was just mesmerized by her. And he's like, "I'm going to marry you. I'm going to marry you." And she just started laughing and they had a little joke. And he said, "What time is your break?" And she's like, in a few minutes. He goes, "I'm going to come inside, eat my food. I'm going to wait for you on your break." And he goes, "I'm coming back here exactly in 30 days. I'll be back here in a month. I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to marry you. And we're going to get married." And it was a crazy story because they did. He went back 30 days later. They went to Omaha. They got married. And he comes over and introduces her to the house. And, me and the kids and everything, my wife. And it was funny because she goes, "Well, everything's new and exciting." And I said, "Yeah, you're still learning each other's last name, right?" And I always wonder, how the relationship ended up. How was it for those people that really just spontaneously were really had an attraction? And maybe it was more than a physical attraction, but that was that mental connection that you have with somebody and the spiritual connection. And they really just went in 100% and got married and everything was new and fresh. Last year we bought property in Oklahoma, sight unseen. It's about 4.5 acres of land. And then a couple of weeks ago we bought 1.6 acres with a little A-frame house, sight unseen. And so last weekend we drove down and looked at the house, and I asked him, I said, would you have purchased this property if you had the chance to look at it before? And she goes, that's a challenging question because I really can't answer that. I don't know. And I think a lot of times in our life we dive into relationships personally and professionally, and we really want everything to be so perfect, and we want everything to align perfectly, and we have these false expectations. And so the last few properties that we bought a house on Bell that needed a complete total renovation. This cabin out here needed a lot of work, And so a lot of times when you look at the outside and you look on the inside, it looks okay, but they've covered up a lot of electrical, plumbing, a lot of maybe dry rot or erosion, termites, who knows. So a lot of times that's how it is in our relationships. Like you go for a job interview and you don't ask all the right questions, or maybe they're avoiding answering some of the questions. And that's the same thing with relationships. We want to give it our best and put our best foot forward, but a lot of times, those underlining times when we have anxiety or PTSD or things like that show up, our anger, right? Our frustrations. And so, is it our best? Is it our worst? Where are we? So is love really blind? I'd love to hear from you guys in your comments, your perspective on how you feel love correlates personally and professionally. And would you be crazy enough to buy 2 properties in another state, sight unseen? One is land and one is actually property by the lake, a little A-frame. And yeah, the property needs work, but every house that we've ever purchased, even brand new construction, needed work. And I think that's the thing that we tend to forget, is that we think we're going to go buy this new car every 2 years and everything's going to be perfect, and it's not. Things happen, life happens, and that's how it is in relationships. And we just tend to have this society that wants to quit and wants to give up. And a lot of times if we just stuck with it, there's so many benefits and things that would come from that relationship, personally and professionally. I will say this also, is just don't ever give up on your dreams, your visions, and your goals. For 2 years I've been looking for property. I started in Colorado and we even looked in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, just all around, New Mexico. And I was just so frustrated. I just really had given up. I was done. I said, it's just not going to happen. And then Tammy comes up to me around last June and says, "I found, 4.5 acres in Oklahoma." And I said, and the price was unbelievable. I said, "It will be gone today. That property will be gone." So we put an offer in, and we got the property. So a lot of times when we have given up on our dreams, our visions, our goals, thankfully there's somebody else in our life to help kind of push us to that. So don't ever give up, guys, because you never know what's right around the corner. I love you. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear any relationship, in times in your life, or anybody that just got married without even knowing each other's really last name. I hope you have an amazing day.